talk a lot about systemic racism on this show, and I know there's some people out there, like the president, who do not believe systemic racism exists.
Like
and if you don't believe me, Donald Trump in Kenosha was asked about this. He was asked if there is systemic racism in Kenosha. He's asked if it was a problem in policing, and have a listen to his response.
I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. I think the police do an incredible job. And I think you do have some bad apples. I think you'd agree every once in a while you'll see something. And you do have the other situation, too, where they're under this tremendous pressure and they don't handle it well. They call it choking, and it happens. And no, but I don't believe that at all.
All right, so it's just choking, right? Well, I want to bring a story to you that I think is very important because I do believe there's systemic racism out there. With that being said, I've said it a million times on this show. I support the police. I think the majority of them are very good people that are not racist. I do think the majority of police officers are heroes. And I do support the police, as I support the Black Lives Matter movement. Of course, I don't support riots or anybody who is doing anything violent. I support peaceful protest. With that being said, there's a sheriff out there in Delta County, Arkansas. His name is Todd Wright. Keep in mind, this isn't just a police officer. This is a sheriff. This is the boss of many police officers that are underneath him. He runs that county, or at least did. I digress, and I'll explain why. He was recorded using racial remarks, including the N-word, only because he was upset that his wife was speaking to a black man at a store. Wasn't dating a black man, wasn't even cheating. That wouldn't make it right either, by the way, ever using the N-word. He just was a little bit upset because his wife was even speaking to somebody that is black. Now, we had to take out a lot of the swear words here and bleep them out. A lot of F words and a lot of N words being used here. But try to listen to this. Keep in mind, this isn't just a police officer. This is a sheriff. Have a listen to this.
I'm not blaming nothing on you.
And everyone at the door, you got to talk to the red locked ass right there in front of me, like y'all think.
I didn't think it was a big deal since I was
It is a
with you.
big deal. Well, people see me and see you talking to
They know that.
All right, so a lot of those things that we bleeped out were N-words. He's calling the man that his wife was talking to an effing N-word. Can't play it on the air. Not going to play it on the air. Even if it was allowed, I still wouldn't play it because it's so horrible and inappropriate. Now, it wouldn't be good under any circumstance to use that type of language towards a black person. And the only reason why he did it was because his wife was talking to somebody that was black. Now, since then, he's been forced to resign after this leaked audio and this racist rant drew protesters and backlash. But here's the question I ask, and I think it's a very important one, and that is this. Let's just say hypothetically that some of his officers did some wrong. Let's just say in the past, hypothetically speaking, that some of the officers that worked underneath him did some racist things or some horrible things, and maybe race was a factor. Do you think that this man who openly uses the N-word and won't let his wife talk to a black person would have gone after one of his officers and justice would have been served if one of his officers did something that was racist towards the black person? I'd like to say no. And ladies and gentlemen, let's be very clear on this. This man was recorded. Imagine the people out there, sheriffs, police officers. I'd like to think that it's certainly not the majority. But imagine some of the other sheriffs out there, like the Todd Wrights of the world, who have not been recorded, that feel this way towards African Americans. And you mean to tell me that there is no systemic racism? That is why in specific situations, like what took place to Ahmaud Arbery, do we remember the Ahmaud Arbery case where a black man, make no mistake about it, we all saw the video, was lynched. And for 2 months, that's right, 2 months, it was completely underneath the rug. Not because they didn't have the video. They had the video. Remember, they had it right from the get-go, and actually officers on the scene of the crime wanted to make arrests, and the people up above told them not to. Now, why is that? Is it just because they had a relationship? Or maybe is it because they had a relationship and maybe there might have been a little bit of racism going on there with powerful people. That is what systemic racism is. Do I think it's in every police department? Absolutely not. But it's out there.
Not even close to everyone.
You can say not even close all you want, but
yes,
it does exist.
It is not rampant. There's definitely anecdotal evidence of it, clearly. And the Ahmaud Arbery case is a prime example of that. But this guy was fired as well. Clearly he's racist, and the reason he's racist is because he's insecure.
Maybe could it just be that he hates black people?
I think he's very insecure in himself.
I know a lot of insecure people that are not racist. Okay, I know a lot of people that are very insecure with themselves that don't use the N-word. So for you to say that, I think he just hates black people.
Well,
Isn't it? Hold on a second.
I'm sure both those things are good, but clearly this guy has no trust in his own wife, and he feels inferior to African American men. Clearly, that's the case with this particular sheriff.
Okay, or it could be the case that he was raised by racist parents who maybe are Klan members who hate black people.
That's not part of it as well.
Okay, so
but the guy was fired. He was a sheriff, so he was in power, and it's possible.
Resigned.
Okay, he resigned. Fine, he's out of the police department. The Ahmaud Arbery case is a little different because again, there was a lie, and it was accepted all the way up the ladder.
Okay, but JD, here's my point.
To me, that's clear systemic racism.
Okay, but JD,
in this case, you have individual racism, but he was in a relatively high position.
JD,
I don't think that. I think that it would take you a long time to scour Google and scour the internet to find more stories like this.
Let's be very clear, JD.
I know why we're having the story because I've consistently stated that I don't think there is rampant systemic racism, and I still stand by that. This is anecdotal, but I think it would take you a long time to find more and more stories like this.
First of all,
I'm glad this guy's not a cop anymore. Obviously.
First of all, let me be very clear on this. The only reason why he doesn't have a job is because somebody had a recording of him. There are people out there that feel the same way as this man feels, and they are probably and I know they're in very powerful positions in this country, but the only reason why they still have jobs is because they haven't been recorded. Hold on.
Who else do you think in a powerful position in this country feels the way he feels?
You got to let me finish. The only reason why this guy doesn't have a job anymore is because his wife or somebody recorded this audio. Otherwise, this man would still have a powerful position, and he would probably still be doing things that are not made in a very positive light towards African Americans. Let's open up the phone lines now at 702-257-5396. Again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 257-5396. It is why, I know JD disagrees, but it is why I say there is systemic racism out there. This Arkansas sheriff...
I didn't say it's not out there. I agree. Okay. Clearly, it's out there. Obviously,
you said
I said it's not rampant. There isn't a lot of it.
Well, I've heard you say you don't believe that there is systemic racism. I've heard you say that on this show.
Yeah,
before.
I don't think that there is.
Now it's not rampant.
That's what I said. I don't think there is rampant systemic racism.
Okay,
that's what I've said.
So we agree that there is systemic racism out there.
I mean, maybe 0.05% of police departments.
I don't know where you get that percentage.
Very, very well. Because there's 3,140 counties in the United States.
Okay.
And now we've seen two.
Okay, so my question.
One was, to me, a clear-cut systemic racism, which is the Ahmaud Arbery case, and this one there was a racist who happened to be in the police department in a relatively high position as sheriff.
Okay, so let me open up the phone lines. What do you think? Do you think there's systemic racism out there? What do you make of this Arkansas sheriff? Do you find that to be problematic? He was caught, a man who was the boss of many police officers in his county. What do you make?